Without a doubt, Brian Kobach, the star of the show for the Toledo Rockets, as we welcome in one of the stars of our show, Mike Robinson. You see him every weekend here on Game Day Nation, as well as you hear him on the radio as the sideline reporter for the Toledo Rocket Radio Network. Mike Rob, thank you for coming back.
Hey, thanks for having me. I hadn't gotten any sleep yet since the game, so bear with me.
Well, you're in need of some rest. Brian Kobach's in need of some rest. 203 yards, 4 touchdowns. Your take on what Kobach did against Ohio?
You know, what Kobach did was just classic, Brian Kobach football. The Toledo Rockets, let's start with the offensive line. They've done a really good job. Adding Vinny Scurry into that lineup has been good, moving Gurman out to the left tackle. This mix-up here for the Rockets football team has been really good because that run game hasn't been so solid all season long. Kobach hadn't got those 100-yard games. He's only had about 3 or 4 this season in total. But these last few games, the O-line has finally been clicking. You wish it happened earlier, but right now it's more than ever. They're rolling, they're rocking, and Brian Kobach, he does so many special things with his feet. You tip the cap to him for passing Terry Swanson, who was right there on the sideline, right there next to him, having another year over 1,000 yards. This offense is going when Brian Kobach is flowing.
Among the unsung heroes last night, Dimi Blankensee. He had the kick return in the second quarter after the Bobcats took a 3-0 lead. Blankensee's kick return gave some energy to a Rocket sideline that was pretty down in the dumps, so Rocket offense hadn't been able to do anything. Is after Blankensee's kick return out towards midfield that they just started giving the ball to Kobach and took over. That was the turning point of the game in the second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. That special teams have been huge. They've had a couple blunders all season. They've had a few blunders even last night with the kicks. Some shank kicks there. Bailey Flint got to work the kinks out, got to get things together as they head into bowl season. But before we even get there, like I said, Blankensee, he's a special player. He got dinged up a little bit earlier in the season, but he's been making plays since last year, stepping up. Bryce Mitchell not with the team. The other receivers have found ways to step in, and especially in that special teams unit because he's filling in where Bryce was at.
Yeah, no Bryce Mitchell, no Jerwan Newton on kick returns either, as both of those guys are banged up. Another unsung hero, a collection of unsung heroes, the defense, particularly the job the defense did in the first 2 quarters when the game was still in doubt as they held Ohio to field goals. And if you're going to score 6 and the other team's going to score 3, you're going to win games.
Yeah, when you talk about the linebacker core and Mr. Jones, he had 16 tackles there, and Tyson Anderson with 6 solos leading the defense. They stepped up in a big way. They knew that they wanted to run the ball with Tuggle. Tuggle had a pretty solid game. Still, they gained a lot of first downs. They had a lot of empty calories, as you'll call it. They didn't get touchdowns, and holding the team to field goals is still a win. It's the bend, don't break mentality, but you can't kick field goals and beat Toledo Rockets when they're averaging 30-something points a game in the last few weeks. So as far as the defensive line going, you saw Kevon Butler, Whitmer product there, step up. He started for the defense. They made a lot of plays. And the offensive line for Ohio, they struggled at the right tackle spot. They kind of swapped in and out 2 different guys, and the Toledo Rockets finally got up on top of them. Jamal Hines had another career night.
With the win, Toledo now 6-5 on the season, so they are bowl eligible. And as the team's not focused on this, but I know the fans and some of the media members are beginning to focus on where Toledo will go bowling. There's a lot of different projections out there, so it's pretty wide open right now. But it looks like there's a pretty strong chance that Toledo, for the first time since 2018, will get a bowl bid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's needed and bowl revenge for this football team. They've struggled in bowl games under the Kendall era, but this is something that they've been doing. They've been getting there to the game, having solid seasons, but they got to find a way to finish the season off. Last time they finished the season off, they did it versus, in Akron in the bowl and for the MAC championship over in Detroit. But as far as bowl games, I think the Rockets are on the right track. They got to win next week. I feel like everything still isn't, set in stone. You still have that sense of urgency, that feel from a couple of years back. You talked about it when the Rockets went 6-6. It was the only FBS team to not get a bowl game. So I know that's still creeping in the back of their mind. There is some room because the Big Ten and some of these other conferences aren't filling out and getting to that mark, that 6-game mark. But I believe that the Rockets will get in. But how what game they go to, which matters to us, the media and the fans. We want to go somewhere nice and warm. We don't want to go to the Motor City Bowl, although we will go there.
Bahamas, and a return trip to Nassau could be in the offering, maybe a trip to Tucson.
Take that.
Alabama could be either Birmingham or into Mobile. So there's a lot of possibilities for the Toledo Bowl bid. Boca Raton Bowl has been mentioned quite a few times as well. So that'll all sort itself out over the next couple of days and weeks. But one thing we certainly know is 6-6 does not look as good as 7-5. As the Toledo Rockets will have a little bit of a break as they don't play again until Saturday after Thanksgiving when they host Akron. We'll have much more on that matchup coming up next week on College Football Weekly. Mike, Rob, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark.